Hey guys, it's Green Zero back here again with another Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath video commentary. We have a series here for you today because there was a tournament yesterday and we have the grand final here. The tournament had quite a few names rock up. I think we had around a dozen people there, and we will be showing the grand final here now. I'll do my best to bring some streams. I said this in my stream that I'll be doing my best to bring some streams regularly, but this is going to be a best of 9, so it's going to go for a while. So we're going to try to get straight into this. On the top right hand side of Tournament LA, it's going to be bike-RUsh+ownz playing as Steel Talons. And the bottom south side, we have playing as it looks to be the Traveler 59. It's going to be Technique, fresh from his meltdown at the Conjunct tournament here. Surprisingly, myself and Master Leaf both knocked out. Had to play each other in the first round, and that was, ugh. If you saw the stream, you would have seen some really weird games coming out of both of us. But yeah, unfortunately, neither of us firing on any cylinders at all there, and even Encore came in and cleaned up Master Leaf. But Technique did dispose of Encore, and now we have bike-RUsh+, of course, who made the finals. He had a incredibly easy run through his side of the bracket there. Maybe some work needs to be done on the brackets from CGF, but we have a Descent Rush coming out here. Now, interesting enough, bike-RUsh did select his faction. All right, bike-RUsh actually selected Steel Talons, and I believe Technique did select his faction. I've checked out the history, and I believe that everyone picked their factions in this matchup. But so yeah, he's actually going to play as Steel Talons versus the Traveler 59 here. And unfortunately, Technique was not able to get into the enemy base here. bike-RUsh with a few rifles, and he's got a tower there as well. We'll be putting down another refinery there, but he's going to make sure Technique can't do too much. Technique could try to target the spike, which is over here to the right-hand side. We can see there are EMP control centers at either side of this map. This map here is a classic TET map. It's really huge. It's really huge. He's actually going to go straight in. This is weird. Technique is actually just going to bum rush right into the heaviest defended part of bike-RUsh's base here. Wow, bike-RUsh is just like, yeah, cool, I don't have to worry about those anymore. He should have just gone and destroyed the spike and then just maintained a map present, or at least slow down bike-RUsh's ability to expand, because when bike-RUsh drives his MCV, obviously you can try to cut it off. Now, Technique is a big fan of having the first expansion really close, but for some reason it's not that close as it normally is on some of his other maps. But now all of a sudden Technique lost his map control. He's only got one refinery here. He's going to plant a second refinery down. No, he's not. He's going to put down 2 portals. He's going to keep the aggression up. Now, bike-RUsh does have 4 harvesters. He doesn't have total saturation yet. A 5th harvester will give him total saturation. You can go a 6th harvester as well if you really want to. That is fine, but he's actually got a harvester at the Blue Tiberium, so there we go. Very comfortable. He's got a mobile repair or MRT. Mobile repair transport moving around. Of course, this is 1.02 plus, so they're not bugged out or anything like that. They're a lot more capable, but again, you still don't see them that much. They have obviously a very unique purpose, and they come up from time to time, but they're not going to be something they're going to rely on super heavily. But does bike-RUsh know that Technique has continued to press this disintegrator aggression here? We're going to see, yeah, we have a MRT here already. He's going to drop a minefield. He's going to find these disintegrators. There's a Wolverine there as well. He's going to move across. If he steps onto the minefield, oh my god, he actually went right into the minefield that was only covering a small area, and he's actually going to be able to destroy a ton of disintegrators. Nonetheless, he will lose 2 Wolverines and the MRT, but I mean, the descent ball has been really hurt bad. Like, it's not large enough now to pressure the base. There's 2 towers there. There's more Wolverines coming out. There is a Gunwalker, but funnily enough, there is just a single Titan there to help push that away as well. We can see Technique streaming reinforcements now. Did he sell his drone ship? Oh my god, he sold his drone ship. It's almost certain that he has. He's gone all in this situation. This is really weird. I wouldn't have thought Technique would, 1, pick Traveler, and 2, want to do an all-in like this. bike-RUsh has a ref at the expansion. Oh man, as soon as AP ammo is done, this is history. He's going to come in. There's a hammerhead there, which is terrible for him. This hammerhead, obviously, there's nothing the disintegrators can do about that. There's a few gunwalkers trying to parry it around, but oh man, he just got absolutely destroyed. AP ammo is not going to complete just yet, but it doesn't matter. There's too many towers here. That hammerhead there, and bike-RUsh just microing it away, keeping it away from the gunwalker there, and that's pretty much it. The bulk of Technique's force now has been defeated. And he can continue to 1 base until bike-RUsh basically kills him, but I don't think he's going to be able to build up enough. Yeah, look at this. This hammerhead is just cutting off reinforcements now. AP ammo is done. There's random Wolverines walking around. There's still towers left behind. It's completely shut the door bike-RUsh has completely shut the door on Technique, and I'll be anticipating a surrender momentarily from Technique. He's going to get there you go. I was going to say, there's no way he can continue on. That was really unusual. I'm not sure why Technique chose that faction and to do that type of strategy against bike-RUsh, but I guess maybe he was hoping for an early win. You got to remember, I'm not sure if I said this is a best of 9, so Technique can, both sides can afford to play extremely risky, but at the same time, you don't want to give the other player momentum, so bike-RUsh will take a 1-0 lead in the series here, so bike-RUsh gets an early lead. He will need 4 more victories, 5 minutes 25 seconds there. We'll jump into game number 2 coming up right now. Okay guys, welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 9 series. We are on Tournament Dust Bowl, that's right. It's the no poker Dust Bowl, so it's the Technique friendly map where there's no contested spikes. They are gone, they have been moved to the corner and there's only one, so they're pretty easy to capture that. But on the bottom right hand side, playing as the yellow Steel Talons again. Is he for real? So bike-RUsh has picked Steel Talons for a second time in a row, and Technique Nicole is going to be the green nod, so he's not going black can. He's decided, oh, you know, I'll just go for vanilla nod. So Technique is vanilla nod here. He's not going to open with any shadows or anything like that. He's going to put his ref down, and I'd imagine he's just going to go straight for a War Factory. I'm not sure if he's going to do a comm center. He is against Steel Talons, so obviously a Titan can wreck his day. Unfortunately, not going to win that fight. You can't win a 1v1 with a Rifleman squad and a Militant squad. That just does not work. bike-RUsh now scouting out a majority of the map. Technique, unfortunately, he's actually keeping his barracks here, maybe for some unknown reason. Maybe he's going to be pumping something out. We have another structure being queued, but it's building too slowly to be an operations center, so he's just going to play the eco game here. Not even producing anything from his War Factory. There we go, producing something now, but I'm not sure if he mismicroed that or what's going on here. Both of these players, I haven't seen them play too much lately. I know they have been playing on occasion. Oh, sorry, he does have a Raider buggy out, so he was actually building something before, but there may have been a momentary lapse in his production capabilities there. Still hasn't got, he's going to pump out his 3rd harvester now, so he is not, he shouldn't really be behind him. He did build a Raider buggy, which is another 5 seconds, which is why bike-RUsh appears to be ahead, but he shouldn't be ahead by that much. Going to redeploy. It's a very short expansion on Dust Bowl, of course, and you can put down, or you can just move the whole way without putting your power plant down, but bike-RUsh wants it down. Going to dig some foxholes, make sure you can keep an eye on the War Factory, because in this situation, and I've said this a million times, you just have to keep an eye on the War Factory if this is all the nod player is doing, because yeah, you want to see if bikes are coming out, you want to see if maybe he's going to put down a delayed flame rush or something like that, or what he's doing. If he's just ecoing, then that's fine, you can just eco in the background as well. In my professional opinion, Nod needs to make a move on GDI, because if you allow GDI just to sit around, second War Factory, wow, what's going on here? If you allow GDI to sit around, their units are inherently more powerful, and you need to be able to weaken their economy or weaken their unit count. There are, of course, very good late game nod strategies, but in general, if you're not going to be playing that, you want to try to weaken the nod player, sorry, the GDI player any way that you can. Technique just scouting him out. He's going to see the 2 War Factories, and he's going to know he's going to get up against double War Factory people. He did go for a refinery, which means he needs to pump. He's going to go for a barracks, I believe, something that he can really rush out some rocket squads with. His first harvester is under attack. No, that was only a power plant, unfortunately, so more peoples are rocking up. He has a Scorpion tank. He's going to have to pull this harvester now, even if he doesn't lose it. Wow, is that a laser turret? He actually built a laser turret. Okay, there you go. Laser, oh my god, what happened then? That did that last time I started casting as well. It just randomly alt-tabbed the game. So we're back though. I'm not sure why it does that sometimes. It only seems to do it in replays, and it's pretty uncommon, but has happened twice in a row now. We're concentrating on this harvester. He will lose the harvester. A couple of pitbulls. All these pitbulls are probably going to be void and null now. Yeah, he does destroy a lot of them. So, but he does get the harvester, and you got to remember that harvester didn't actually harvest anything. It just spent its life driving around until it was destroyed. So that's going to set Technique back a little bit. bike-RUsh probably happy to expend the handful of pitbulls that he did expend. Actually managed to destroy the hand of Nod with the foxhole, and Technique being forced to repair this power plant now. So just little things that bike-RUsh is doing, little niggling things. He's going to move this Rifleman squad over to the other foxhole, and then he's going to have twice as much firepower. Is he going to get the crush off? Oh, he gets three squad members there. And the repair tool is now off the power plant. Technique not wanting to waste money repairing that now. Again, it's only a $500 structure. Could probably just sell off this laser turret. Again, Technique, maybe he built it by accident. Sometimes you accidentally miscue these, and it's like, well, I've got it built, I might as well put it down to help defend. Battle marker down here, and Technique is just having a look around. bike-RUsh has managed to pump out a double refinery down here, 4 harvesters on the expansion. Technique does have the same, of course, but these harvesters, these refineries are spread out. 5th harvester coming across now. He does have 1, 2, 3. He's only got 4 on the main, so there's one short on the main, but it doesn't really matter. There's not much crystal left there. He doesn't need to worry about continue to saturate that. Titans are coming out now from bike-RUsh. Let's see what he has planned for these now. So game 2 here of a best of 9. bike-RUsh does hold a 1-0 lead. Technique probably not looking to let him get too much of a lead in this series. I mean, ideally you want to win every game, but I don't think he's sweating just yet. A scan comes down. We did see that before, and obviously that was just to see what Technique was up to, just to make sure, you know, there's nothing terrible coming out. Is he going to continue to build Titans? He's going to continue to build Titans, and now he's going for, appears to be rocket heads here, so he's going to be going for AP ammo rocket heads. A poor man's zone head there, or maybe he's just planning on building just rocket squads. I'm not 100% sure there. He does redeploy his MCV. Maybe he's worried about clicks. That may have been what the decoy was for. Yeah, there is a tech center down. Is he going for clicks? He's building a structure here. This could be a TIB chem plant, and then clicks will be on his mind. No, it's the second war factory, so Technique not going to click him. Maybe he realizes the refs are too far spread, and he's a little bit behind, I think, in this situation, and if his clicks don't do critical damage, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. Pitbulls and a few hammerheads over here. He didn't load the rocket squads in them, though, so the rocket squads, I believe, are just for defense. I'm not 100% sure. He did put it in a situation where it looks like he was planning on loading them into the hammerheads, but not going to do that. Going to move the remainder of his harvesters and just recycle his eco, so he's just moving across now. bike-RUsh just meandering around. He will find this raider buggy, and that will be destroyed. So Technique, I think he was hoping to get a scout off on that. If we have a look at the vision, Technique can see bugger all. He did have a decoy of some type, which must have snuck its way in there. bike-RUsh, meanwhile, does not have radar because his MCV is on the move. But you can see everything up to Technique's base there. Wow, he's got fantastic line of sight. So that's huge for him. And he's just camping out Technique's 3rd base now. Technique not making a move. He is going for Redeemer Avatar, so he is going to play the long game, and again, he's allowing bike-RUsh to kind of do whatever he wants, which is, I was saying this about GDI, you can't really allow GDI to do that. Stealth tanks are coming out, so 4 stealth tanks. Technique does this quite often. Sometimes he's one of the last few people to use stealth tanks, which are an extremely powerful unit, but you need to have, obviously, you know, skill to use them, and that's why a lot of lesser players just bypass. I'm not sure what he's doing with these hammerheads. Oh my god, he's going to lose them all. Hammerheads do not beat stealth tanks, and yeah, I'm not sure why bike-RUsh chose. Oh, we got a battle over here. He's actually moving through. He's got pitbulls in here. I did not see this, and he's crushing harvesters. And looks like Technique is way out of position here. These guys just walked into the base, and harvesters going down left, right, and center there. 3 harvesters managed to be pulled back there, so that's good for him. Meanwhile, looks like bike-RUsh is going to lose his MCV. More units being destroyed. One of those, what do you call it? One of those stealth tanks destroyed. But yeah, look at this TIB core. It just completely obliterates these hammerheads here. He's trying to force them down. There's 2 stealth tanks remaining. He will lose the MCV. Meanwhile, these Titans are moving through the base. Technique is not refining, by the way. He does have the advantage of stealth coming back. Looks like he's going to clean that up. But you know what? bike-RUsh, even though he lost his MCV, I think he's in a little bit better a condition at the moment. He doesn't have a tech center though. Actually had a ref queued, and he just panicked and placed it down. Well, maybe not panicked, but he put it down here just so you get the harvester out. And it looks like, yeah, now he's going to go back to harvesting. Only 3 harvesters. A Redeemer is out, which if it beelines towards bike-RUsh's base, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. There is also 3 avatars out as well. So with the stealth tanks to provide cover from hammerheads, there's not a lot that can touch this. He actually got laser capacitors and dozer blades, considering how few Scorpion tanks he's actually had. But a few infantry forces, bike-RUsh is like, well, hang on a second, yeah, probably cannot engage that there. bike-RUsh is going to fall back, so this game is going to continue now. Sells off his war factory there. That stealth tank just chilling. He's got another one over here. bike-RUsh, yeah, because bike-RUsh could very easily try to use like orcas or hammerheads against this. Orcas might be more preferable, they're a bit more expendable, but since there are... oh, look at that, he actually runs into these forces here. That stealth tank will actually escape. Veteran stealth tank as well. He's taken down quite a few hammerheads, I'd imagine. bike-RUsh is now leeching this field here. Pitbull's having to come out. He's really struggling for cash because you can see he's got no TIB on his main and his expansion, so He's really he's continuing to produce hammerheads here. Looks like he's going to continue to produce rocket heads, but again, this is expensive. These are what do you call it? They're $1,900 units. They're more expensive than stealth tanks, and the stealth tanks will be able to destroy those, as we've seen throughout this game here. But bike-RUsh is persisting. He's like, no, I guess he hopes he can catch them out or catch them napping in some way. There's 3 stealth tanks moving across the map, but these avatars are down here. The Redeemer is down here. bike-RUsh's days could be numbered. He does pop a Scorpion tank there, and he's going to find there's no double A, but here come the stealth tanks. There's 4 of them now, and a Rage Gen will go off. It doesn't affect air, but look at that. And the Pitbulls are even destroying some of the hammerheads as well. That's terrible. bike-RUsh is going to try to engage here, but you know what? Those stealth tanks are just eating those hammerheads alive. I'm not sure why bike-RUsh... I mean, he should have just built Orcas. At least Orcas can really hunt the stealth tanks, and the trade is better for the Orcas. But he is actually going to pop some of these avatars. 2 avatars were destroyed. He could get a 3rd. Stealth tank's coming back in now as well. He still has 5 hammerheads, but again, what's he going to do against these stealth tanks? Oh my god, they cluster, and he gets 2 for 1. The stealth tanks now destroying everything. He is losing quite a few stealth tanks. There is a delay in their firing, so he will lose. Looks like the last stealth tank may go down. He will lose all of his stealth tanks, unfortunately. You want to shoot and move with your stealth tanks. Unfortunately, he didn't do that. He just shot and then just stayed put. 1 more hammerhead coming out now, but again, there's nothing garrisoned in them. All Technique needs to do is just pull in some more stealth tanks, even just 1. He will unfortunately destroy his own... oh no, he's destroying the husks, should I say. More hammerheads coming. Technique should be pumping out some stealth tanks, and imagine they'd be coming out now. Yeah, stealth tanks coming out. Has he already got one down here? No, he doesn't. bike-RUsh is probably anticipating that there are going to be some, and then he could very easily send his stealth tanks over here to cut off bike-RUsh. I think bike-RUsh is losing this attrition now. He doesn't really have any backup options. He's got no MCV, and that means he's just leeching. He's going to be leeching for the remainder of the game. He can't actually stop the Redeemer. How's he going to stop the Redeemer? There's actually nothing that he can do about this. Stealth tank will fire a few tib core missiles up, and look at that, oh my god, 2 hammerheads down. He didn't even fire a full volley there. You can see it only takes about 3 tib core rockets to destroy a hammerhead, and the tib core rockets will do splash damage if the hammerheads are close enough together, which of course hammerheads do like to group, and Technique will be claiming the W, so he evens the series up at 1 apiece. bike-RUsh didn't seem to have much purpose or direction in that game. He actually got a lot more money, as you can see, but yeah, not a lot of purpose and direction, and Technique, despite the slugfest, was able to overcome it. I think, yeah, it was the hammerhead situation. Technique he destroyed so many hammerheads, and he only paid for it with a couple of stealth tanks, so unfortunately bike-RUsh there, probably not the most appropriate response, but it's going to be a long series, I'd imagine, so we'll keep this one brief. Let's jump into game number 3. Okay guys, welcome back to game number 3 between Technique and bike-RUsh+ownz in this best of 9 grand final series. We are on tournament 20%, because that's how completed it's done. I probably used that one before, but yeah, I really don't like it. It's just a horrendously built map. It looks like it's been carved. It looks like it's been man-made. It's a disastrously bad map, but they are playing on a bike-RUsh is in the top right-hand side, playing as Steel Talons, because why the hell not? Doesn't matter what faction he plays, he's probably going to win. Technique is on the left-hand side, playing as Nod again, realizing that he did have somewhat success with the Nod faction. So it is 1 apiece, so either player now needs 4 wins to take out the series here. Best of 9, very long series. It's really interesting because the semifinals were best of 5, so he skipped best of 7 and just went straight for best of 9 here. Technique not going with any serious scouting attempts, maybe planning on a Raider buggy. bike-RUsh, meanwhile, just sending out these squads. And look at this. Technique could very easily sell this. No, he's actually going to dig a foxhole here. He's going to be annoying. That's definitely very annoying. Going to shoot these guys in the back a little bit, but unfortunately he's going to foxhole this entrance here as well. So this is just bike-RUsh. He just gets into these positions, and he'll save the other squad as well. And he's going to gun down these 2 militants. That's 2 scouts that Technique does not have anymore. He was sitting at home because he wanted to catch these scouts. He wanted to do a reverse scouting, but the Raider buggy is not going to turn around. So he's actually got the other scout over here. He spots the war factory. He's like, all right, cool. Actually, this could be an operation center. No, it's not. Sorry, it is going to be a refinery. So he spots the 2 refineries. Oh my god, he lost his Raider buggy. There's a Titan and a Pitbull coming out, and an MRT. What is bike-RUsh doing? He's only got 2 harvesters here. He's going to expand with just 1 power plant. But obviously Technique is aware that this is coming now. But what's he going to do about this? He's going to build some Scorpion tanks. But you really got to question. I mean, he could just span some infantry out, but of course these foxholes here with the rifleman squad are going to make things difficult. I'd imagine a shredder turret is already queued. This MRT will be able to repair up the Titan. He's going to need more than one Scorpion tank, I can tell you that right now. The Scorpion tank will slowly take damage and the Titan will just be able to destroy it. Second Scorpion tank comes out now, but the thing is, can he focus this down? A laser turret will come down and it will do a little bit of damage to the Titan, but the MRT already repairing it. He's got it down to about 25%, or sorry, he took about 25% damage to it. He will push it back, he's not going to be able to destroy it, but bike-RUsh is not going to be able to push in. Going to get some repairs on these Scorpion tanks, so yeah, nice hold there. Meanwhile, this scout is going to move through. Just have a look and see what's going on. They will ultimately be destroyed, so... but he realizes a technique here. One base. He can't obviously see how many harvesters there are. We know there's 3 harvesters. Meanwhile, he's going to clear out this other foxhole. bike-RUsh just going to tap out here and move back to his base. Does have a power plant down. What is his economy looking like? He's got 3. He's got 5 and 2. Technique only has 4 and 2. So Technique a little bit behind in the economic department here. He does have 4 tanks. He could just go out and harass with those because they are faster than what bike-RUsh has right now. The Titans aren't going to catch those. Second War Factory comes down and bike-RUsh already scouted it. He already saw it with the Pitbull and he's gonna back up. He knows, all right, cool, you've got 2 War Factories. I'd imagine this is going to be a refinery. So he's going to pop down a refinery. Did he build... Oh no, I was going to say... He's not going to power micro that. He needs a power plant right now. He's going to get one. Another harvester comes out now, but I think he's going to switch into Titan production here because he realizes that he's going to hit with double War Factory pressure, and it's going to be double War Factory tanks as well. So the Titans are going to be able to defend at home from behind their structures. Technique is going to get map control, and this is important. He needs to use his map control to get down some economy here, I think, if that's what his plan is. And this Raider buggy, bike-RUsh has the knack of figuring out every direction that they're going to come from, and he even drives through a minefield and he will not get the scout off. So Technique does not know what condition this base... He didn't even see any refineries there, so he doesn't know if there's 1 refiner, if there's 2 refiners, what's happening here. There are a hit squad of tanks over here, 2 Titans, and the MRT is here. There's more Titans over here, 3 Titans, a 4th is going to pop. They can very easily run behind the War Factory, and he's going to actually put a silo down, doesn't even care. 1 tank is popped. Doesn't quite get a second one here, but bike-RUsh takes no losses in that engagement. More Titans. These Titans are just shepherding and pushing back these Scorpion tanks, so Technique is not going to be enjoying this. Not one bit. Might have been able to finish that tank off, but you can see their Technique pulled some of his healthier tanks forward to cover it, which is smart. The people actually being repaired up by the MRT. Moves outside range of the MRT here. This MRT is actually paying dividends now. He's actually able to repair up a lot of these guys. He's going to push forward though. This MRT might be getting a bit ahead of itself. Yeah, it can be pretty difficult to destroy since it can self-repair. Scorpion tanks, while they do pack, they don't really pack that much of a punch. It's one of those things that there needs to be a lot of them for them to do a significant amount of damage. Their cannon is not very high caliber, but yeah, they will push through strength in numbers. Quite a few times now moving across. So bike-RUsh not fussed whatsoever about leaving his base undefended. He does have an airfield down here. Could be going for orcas, could be going for hammerheads. He's got APM on the research here. Pitbull comes in, spots the base here, sees that there's no hidden tech or anything like that, and I think he's just meandering out. He's just wondering whether or not he should engage, because Technique will have a bit of an advantage in the open field area. bike-RUsh has no cover where he is, but there is a significant amount of Titans here, and Unleash, oh my god, Technique will have to be very careful. If he commits to a fight, he might end up losing a lot of tanks. He's going to wait for his Dozer Blade to complete. It is a long way off. He's going to sit at home. This is weird. bike-RUsh like that just took back map control. It's like Technique never even had it in the first place here. So bike-RUsh, and he's doing this with just Titans, a unit which in the field has not really had a great reputation. It's more of a defensive unit, more of a pushing unit. But if he gets into these buildings, oh my god, Technique does not see this. He had no scouting out there, which means bike-RUsh is going to be able to move into the buildings now. If he stands behind these War Factories, he can use Technique's War Factories against him here. This is going to be pretty terrible now, so he's going to try to force him around, and we can see the MRT will be destroyed. Drops a minefield. Technique actually sells up these buildings. He sells the buildings up, realizing that, hang on a second, oh, here comes the charge as well. He's going to be careful of that. He's going to move backwards here. Oh, 2 harvesters got destroyed. A lot of tanks going down. There's still quite a few Titans, and they are using these buildings here as cover now. We can see there are hammerheads or something in the background over there. They are starting to focus down the refiner. He's actually going straight for refineries. The Titans will be cleaned up. But you know what? Technique had no AA. He had no answer to the hammerheads. He lost both of his refs. That is crypt crippling, I think it's pretty much all over for Technique. He's actually going to try to focus down the MCV with a laser field on it. Will be difficult. There's 2 Raider buggies. A turret will come down now as well, but I think he's just going to try to focus down the MCV. It's got a lot of health, and there's a lot of Raider buggies here. If he doesn't get this, if he loses his hammerheads, he might be in a bit of trouble. He's going to pop down another turret here. If he can get it, it will be tight. I think he's going to get it. He will drop it, and he instantly leaves the area. And I think Technique is done and dusted just like that. bike-RUsh turns things around, does 2 crippling attacks. He's even going to pick off some tanks here. Tank after tank after tank being popped now. The Raider buggies will push them back. You don't really want to engage too many Raider buggies with hammerheads because the Raider buggies will rank up like super quickly from destroying hammerheads, because of course the hammerhead is $1,500 and the buggy is $500. So all you need to do is destroy 1 hammerhead and you rank up. So more Titans coming. Oh my god, bike-RUsh has a 3rd base. Look at all the Titans, and I'd imagine there's going to be a surrender any moment now. These are decoy harvesters. Technique wants to go see what's happening. He's going to target the tier 2, but it doesn't really matter because he can't actually build any turrets anyway without an MCV, and he will be destroying that. Elite Raider buggy there though, so you got to be careful about that. But yeah, I think once Technique realizes there is a 3rd base, it's going to be. He doesn't even have a refinery. He's got 1 war factory. And I think he's trying to pump out an MCV. He's trying to stay in this game, but he's so far behind that as soon as bike-RUsh decides he wants to go in, he's just going to win this game. We can see more hammerheads coming. He's just using Titan hammerhead here in this situation. Technique, there's no chance Technique's going to get any type of air unit out now. Not without an MCV, not without a comm center. He will re-pump out an MCV, but he needs to build refineries. He doesn't have time to build, airfields or venoms or anything like that. And here we go, this last fight will be disastrous for him. A lot of the tanks get popped while the Raider buggies were outside of range, which means now the Raider buggies have to fight Titans, and that's something that they're not going to be able to do. And bike-RUsh is just moving forward here methodically. And Technique, I can imagine there's going to be a tap out now that he realizes it's pretty much history. Look at all those harvesters. Oh my god, there was almost a huge crush there. Another fraction of a second, and we would have seen like 6 harvesters get crushed by 1 Titan. If you ever want to see a Titan go straight to heroic, that's probably a good way to do it. But bike-RUsh, just a dominating display in that game there, just basically having his way with Technique. I'm not sure why Technique's not being more aggressive. I mean, Technique is more of an aggressive player, but he just seems to be just chilling a lot. And that's the thing against bike-RUsh. If you just chill against bike-RUsh, he's going to do whatever he wants, and he's going to win. You need to go do something to him. So almost a 10-minute game there. 91,000 to 65,000. Writing was on the wall. That was pretty one-sided. Well done to bike-RUsh. He will take a 2-1 lead in the series. Game 4 is coming up right now. Okay, guys, welcome back to game number 4 in this best of 9 series, and we are on Tiki Turmoil here. bike-RUsh taking back the lead in this series. And speaking of bike-RUsh, on the top right hand side playing as Steel Talons, it's going to be bike-RUsh. If you like Steel Talons, bike-RUsh is on a Steel Talons bender right now. He's going to be building, he's going to be basically, I think for the rest of this tournament, I think he's planning on playing Steel Talons, at least unless he gets really far behind. And on the left hand side, playing as the Nod faction, it's going to be Technical. Is he going to be Black Hand? No, he's going to be Nod again, so preferring to retain Nod in this situation here. Doesn't want to have to go for Black Hand. He wants maybe those stealth units. He wants maybe those better air units, or basically air units at all, because Black Hand, of course, as we know, cannot build air units. And we see these 2 rifleman squads going to come through. They're not going to be able to cut off the engineer. It's simply too far for them to run, for them to do that. Did anyone go for a tower? No one went for a tower. There's an engineer here by bike-RUsh. Maybe looking at grabbing that tower, although he's on the, yeah, look at that. He ran to the left side, maybe hoping to avoid anything in the middle, or maybe it was just a mistake. Technique will allow himself to be scouted here, not going to stop this. The Raider buggy is out. He had a shredder turret, but you're not interested in putting that one down. Will he get the foxhole off in time? That's the question. I think he's going to get it down, so that's annoying for Technique. It's too hard to dislodge with just the Raider buggy. He wants to go scout what bike-RUsh is doing. bike-RUsh could very easily just pull out a rush in the situation. He will kill the other scout on the other side. Looks like we saw a drafting of a shredder turret as well there, so Technique just a little bit flustered here, trying to keep bike-RUsh out of his base. Not going to happen. He's got this tower here. Oh my god, if he drives too close to this tower, and I think bike-RUsh may be looking to select, no, it's just outside that range. Yeah, it's a little bit too far for that to fire. I'm not sure if Technique realizes that he has this tower. He can see it, but whether or not he knows that it's been captured. Oh my god, is this rifleman squad going to lure? No, he knows. He reverse moved. He could have very easily killed that squad. He reverse moved, so he's obviously aware, and that tower will fire. Yeah, he's obviously definitely aware of it now if he wasn't then, but that reverse move is inclines me to think that he was aware that that was there. bike-RUsh now just expanding. He does have 4 harvesters, 2 refinery. Technique has the same, 5th harvester trying to come out now. Same with bike-RUsh. So they're pretty much, this is the first game when they've really been somewhat on par. And look at that, he tried to close to the range of the tower because the tower has a minimum range, but unfortunately not able to do that, so he won't be able to retain a scout over here. Oh. Meanwhile, second war factory will come down from Technique, so hoping to get something out here. More bikes just coming up here. Now, he's trying to dislodge these foxholes because obviously, you know, they can keep line of sight on this area here. He can see everything he's doing. bike-RUsh, obviously, where there is a double war factory down, he does have a double war factory himself, so he decided to go for a second war factory first. We'll have to see if it's going to be pit bulls or predator tanks which comes out. You generally commit to one or the other in this situation. If you're going for predator tanks, you're going to be defending for a while and then going out with a big push. If you're going for pit bulls, it means you want to be aggressive. You want to fight the bikes away from your base. You can fight them at your base as well. He's actually going for harvesters. He does not even care. He knows he's against a double war factory, and he's still continuing to produce harvesters here. Now I think he's going to switch in. Yeah, he's going for Titans. Sorry, I said predator tanks before, but he's actually steel talons. I kept forgetting. He's going to go Titan Pitbull by the looks of things. Would have thought maybe he'd build the Titans on the front war factory because they're slower. They can get to the expansion quicker. Technique is more likely to strike the expansion than he is the main base, although having said that, there's some units around here. I guess on this map you can definitely do it because there is, with this crevice here, there's an opening on this side of the base where you can punch in, and these Titans here now moving to fill that void. So he's just going to be defending this area out for the time being. Meanwhile, Technique will take an expansion, get some more units down. He's got some bikes coming around, but again, looks like bike-RUsh already on the ball. He was moving just the second they came in range there. I'm not sure if he had some scouts down there or what's going on. Now he's going to lose his spike, so he does drop the spike there. The spike is in a very capturable position from the opponent. That's something about this map. So where the spikes are positioned, they start closer to your main, but then the opponent's third is closer. So you can always very easily take those in the late game. Second ref comes down now from bike-RUsh. Technique will be about to drop his second ref momentarily. There we go. So somewhat on par. We have 4 harvesters here. bike-RUsh also has 4 harvesters. So these guys pretty much are mirroring. They have about the same amount of forces as well. Hasn't touched the blue tip, neither has Technique. Again, on this level, I like to get the blue tip a bit later on, once this field starts to dry up. So there's more blue tip here. It's relatively easy to defend later on. It's in a really unique spot. You can just try to sneak it out, whereas in the early parts of the game, people will try to cut this off. Technique is going to go for it now. bike-RUsh is nowhere to be seen. He's actually trying to defend his main over here. Obviously wary that there is something happening over here, but Technique is nowhere to be seen as well. Technique again has pulled all the way back to his base, and there's nothing fancy coming out of him. There's been nothing fancy all series except for that first game. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, he's just doing a classic tanks. He doesn't seem to be committed to anything. He's trying to do one thing and then he kind of stops and something like that. So he's going to be able to destroy these pit bulls to defend his harvest. There was only 2 pit bulls. There was not enough to actually do anything. This tower, of course, is making Technique take the long way around. He can't take shortcuts through the middle or around here. He has to go down here and around to avoid the tower. Doesn't want to give the tower free shots here for bike-RUsh. bike-RUsh just meandering around as well, so neither side really committing. bike-RUsh is going to go for an infantry push. We saw this in one of his games versus Drive recently on this very map when he was this very faction. So he's going to do the same thing again. Again, he's got forces over here, so this is going to be an expendatory force, maybe just to secure his third. I don't know, maybe he is going to attack Technique, and maybe he's going to take out the spike. Battle markers over here, we have a few more pit bulls. They're definitely not going to be able to do anything in terms of destroying harvesters, and yeah, one of them will back off, but again, he's going to drive in here, which he's trapped. I mean, it's defensive for your harvester, but you can get trapped at the same time, so it's a double-edged sword. Really unique blue tip fields on this map, and surprisingly, have to credit it, these blue tip fields, I've said this before, they definitely work out well in the balance of the game here and how things go down, so that's something that's quite good. He is going to be trying to get an engineer. He used a carry all. Unfortunately, no, Technique just plants that one down. He's like, you know what? Oh, Mine Strike comes down. Oh, no, he moved. Oh, the Pitbull there just revealed the mines. They granted stealth momentarily. There's actually going to be an attack over here. The tower is going to be firing. Oh, man, Technique does not want to fight there. Yeah, look at that. Both sides trading a few units. A few more units getting blown to pieces over there, so it looks like some bikes, which there's a lot of bikes. He's actually built up a lot of bikes here. They are trying to move around on the right hand side. There's actually nothing over here, so bike-RUsh is moving across, checking out the radar. Nothing much else is happening. Technique, has he made a move? Did he go all in? Oh my god, I think he sold his MCV. I think he may have sold his MCV. He's going to go all in. bike-RUsh has a third base. This is really unusual from Technique. bike-RUsh's whole forces here as well. And this is going to be pretty intense. He's going to move forward, but the Titans are all behind structures. There's only one harvester. The bikes are coming forward, but again, the Titans are once again behind these structures. And I don't think he's going to be able to do too much. Laser field to the refinery. Technique wastes a full volley on the refinery, by the way. And again, that's fine by bike-RUsh. He can just fire straight back at him. That is a disastrous engagement for Technique. bike-RUsh just sat behind his buildings and just fired away at Technique's force there. And Technique got torn to shreds. He will pull back with a good amount of his bikes. He's actually got a lot of his bikes, which is important here because he's going to have to defend and attack. He's 2 base all in, and bike-RUsh is now happily mining on a third, so this is disastrous. Some forces are moving around the right-hand side, so he can't reflank either. There's going to be another engagement here, and we can see these Titans now going to town on these units. These attack bikes coming in, trying to fight Titans. The Titans, of course, in the open will take a lot more damage. Quite a few tanks going down. Technique's trying to push in and overrun them. He will overrun the first line of Titans, and now he's coming around. bike-RUsh has some more forces to the south, and he has some more to the north, so he could close in on this, but Technique will overrun this area here. But again, he's going to run into another line of reinforcements here from bike-RUsh. There is a battle marker over here. So these units coming up from the behind, popping those bikes here. A few towers here in the mix as well, but every piece of damage that Technique takes is irreparable at the moment. These tanks now starting to fall. He will pop the last of the Titans, but the towers now may be able to finish off some of these damaged tanks. Rocket squad's being scattered, and he's still fighting inside that tower range there, popping more tanks. Oh my god, that tower's probably killed quite a number of tanks. Reinforcements from the south, a few more Titans now are moving up, and Technique's going to try to sandwich those. He's got units on both sides, and he should be able to overrun them, but again, he's losing so many tanks that once this is all said and done, how's he going to destroy harvesters? He's only got 3 tanks remaining. This rocket squad's scattered everywhere, which is disastrous because it's going to be impossible to crush them all, and they're just going to fire back at these units. Will he get that last tank? He needs one more rocket. Not going to get it though, so unfortunately. And bike-RUsh, he has 1 harvester. I'm not sure if he lost a harvester, but he's got plenty of spare harvesters up here that he can transition. Going for an airfield, sells the comm center off, doesn't want to keep that anymore, has 2 airfields, probably going for hammerheads, but Technique was all in. He doesn't have an expansion, he doesn't have the ability to reinforce. He's only got what he's got. He's going to drive into this tower. What's he doing? Oh my god, he's going to try to overrun the tower. The tower was not getting repaired. He's getting repaired now, but it's a little bit late. He will try to pop as many tanks as possible, but he will go down, unfortunately. The Titans here firing from the low ground there. They don't care about any line of sight issues whatsoever. Hammerheads are here now. There's no AA. There's a Titan there as well. There's not quite enough hammerheads to do enough damage. Rocket squads from the left-hand side there. And Technique is just dry. And wherever he goes, he's getting shot at from rockets, from guns, from Titans. It doesn't matter which way he turns. And his infantry are down in this crevice here as well. And that's making them difficult to crush. More Titans with their backs against the walls, just fighting these tanks. And Technique, he's bleeding out units now. This is not going to work. He's going to lose the remainder of these tanks here. And then bike-RUsh, we can see, has 3 harvesters on the expansion. Could be going for another ref. Not quite done just yet. Only just started. What's happening up here? A few pit bulls now trying to take out some units. There are some bikes here to protect the long-range harvesting. Technique is going to fight. He's got quite a lot of harvesters, so he can long-range mine somewhat effectively. Battle marker over here now. Minefield will come down, but unfortunately the towers will reveal those mines are there. And these harvesters now just gonna, it's a really weird docking maneuver there, but he will dock into the refinery. And bike-RUsh now, we have some bikes over here, and he's gonna come forward. He doesn't have Tib core, so which means these hammerheads, there was not enough bikes, and there was no buggies as well. The hammerheads, he loses a few, but at the end of the day, that was a situation or a maneuver error there from Technique. If he had Tib core, he would have won easily, or if he had some buggies or some more units, he would have been fine, but unfortunately not able to engage that. And Technique will be defeated, so bike-RUsh, again, just making good decisions. He's just making good decisions, that's all I can say. That was a really good game. There was a lot of fighting in that game. And bike-RUsh, if you look at throughout this series, not going for the tier 3 yet. I don't think he's built, has he built a tier 3 yet in this series? I don't think he has. But we'll have to see how it goes in the rest of the series. 11.5 minutes. The economy was pretty even though bike-RUsh had a third base. Technique was able to gather blue Tiberium, I think, as well as leeching, and bike-RUsh's third base was pretty much interrupted. So bike-RUsh, though, holds a 3-1 lead in the series now. He is 3-1 ahead. Technique needs to kind of win the next game, otherwise he's going to be on match point and the pressure will be insane. So game number 5 is coming up right now. Hey guys, welcome back to game number 5 in this best of 9 series between bike-RUsh+ownz and Technique. This is the grand final of the tournament. Whoa, what's my mouse doing? We're on Tournament Galaxy here, and bike-RUsh holds a 3-1 lead in the series. He is nicely planted in this series right now. Wants to put it to the match point here, but Technique needs to win this game if he doesn't want the pressure to mount too high. bike-RUsh is on the left-hand side, playing as Steel Talons as always here. He's going to play the whole series with Steel Talons, I understand. So we have Technique playing on the right-hand side. He's selected Nod again. Nod vanilla, not going for the black hand. No black hand for Technique. I wouldn't be surprised if he does pick it. Again, we're going to have at least one more game after this, but it could be up to 5 more games. No, sorry, 4 more games. It is best of 9, so this is going to be a pretty lengthy series here. bike-RUsh just moving out. He's going to try to scout Technique's base here. Now, he's been fantastic at scouting Technique's base out. Technique has really been hit for 6 at every turn here. He might actually be able to destroy this rifleman squad. He got first shots on, and the luck is on his side. We'll be able to take that down. Meanwhile, for the first time in this series, I think Technique is really going to be able to shun back the scouts here. And look at this. The first time he does it, what does bike-RUsh do? He's going for an Orc Rush. No, he's going for Bloodhounds. Did he build rocket squads? No, he didn't build rocket squads. Sometimes you see players build 2 rocket squads. Oh, sorry, no, this is not typical Bloodhounds. This is Steel Talons Bloodhounds, so he doesn't actually even need rocket squads. They don't drop MRTs. Did he see that, though? Did he see them? He's dropping them very far on the field here, and I don't think Technique realizes, though, he's expanding. He has no idea. He has no idea this is coming. He's got no clue. He will spot the airfield. He turns around immediately, and he kind of might have to destroy that Raider buggy. You know, he wastes 1 rocket, and then he realizes, hang on a second, let's get out of here. Technique now trying to build, I think it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be another Raider buggy, but unfortunately he's misinterpreted the fact that there are Wolverines here as well now, so he's not going to be able to just deploy infantry. He's actually going to lose both of these harvesters. He's just going to focus them down. Oh my god, that's disastrous for Technique. That is disastrous. Is he going to lose this game super quick right now? The Bloodhounds are here. Again, he can very easily kill these. You've got to remember, these are all veteran units here, by the way, and building infantry was a waste of time. Buggies are going to do the trick, but he needs to make sure this is repaired. Another Orca is coming. He needs to focus down the Orca. He's turned his attention to it. He will pop that harvester, and that's critical damage. Technique has no MCV. He sold his MCV. He had to sell and go all in 3 harvesters. That was catastrophic. And you don't see, and Technique is supposed to be he's supposed to be one of the best, and he fell for a very basic Bloodhound rush there. I don't know why. He shouldn't have gone for racks. He should have just pumped out the Raider buggies, targeted the Pitbulls, targeted the Orcas. Don't worry about the Wolverines. They're not going to do too much anyway because they don't have AP ammo. And once you pop the Pitbulls as well, there's no stealth detection. There's no stealth detection, which means you can just run your harvesters around. Yes, the Orcas have a pulse scan. It's not effective enough to get the harvesters. You can move outside the range. Got the pulse scan here. It's more of a... People use pulse scan when they have no other option but to use pulse scan. And you can get kills with it. It works. It works. So even the pros players can make it work, but it's still kind of there. And he is just going to go straight in. He is going to try to focus down. Oh no, unfortunately, somehow the harvester regained its stealth. I'm not sure how. He will fire at this. Another Orca comes in. He needs to get 1 more rocket off. Oh, he's going to get this harvester. That is devastating. He is paying a heavy price for it. Technique has no money. Oh my god, he's down to a spike. He's down to a spike. He just sold something. He sold one of his power plants. He's still in it for bike-RUsh. Yeah, bike-RUsh has got about 2,000. He might be saving up for another Bloodhounds, by the way. I think he's going for another one here. The buggies, there's actually no Orcas here. Oh no, he's sold his MCV. Alright, so that's why he's trying to save up for Bloodhounds, because he sold his MCV. And I think maybe Tech, despite losing all those harvesters, I think Tech has done it. I think he's just going to win it because bike-RUsh decided to sell his MCV. I don't agree with the selling of the MCV there. That might have been very silly. Has he got... Yeah, he sold off the refinery. He's actually going to call in Bloodhounds now. He might have an engineer floating around. I imagine there's a V-35 with his engineer somewhere. Maybe it got killed. I can't see anything. Bloodhounds are coming in. And I think Technique is a bit wary. Yeah, he pulled back to base. He's like, hang on a second. There's going to be something here. There is definitely going to be something. Technique, I believe, has a engineer somewhere as well. But I'm not sure if he got sniped down or what happened to him because he sold his MCV. Would have gone somewhere. Yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to happen. There's too many Raider buggies here. He's going to be able to focus these guys down. He's actually going to try to target the harvest, which is pretty silly. Now, he's going to target the Pitbull now. He kills both the Pitbulls, and then bike-RUsh has no stealth detection, so that's pretty much the end of the game. And yeah, if bike-RUsh hadn't gone all in, he would have been in a fantastic pick. He just popped so many harvesters there. So Technique gets a lifeline thrown to him. Unfortunately, bike-RUsh there, I don't think he should have sold his MCV. He did so much damage without doing that. I don't think it was necessary, but nonetheless, Technique will stabilize. bike-RUsh still leads the series 3-2, so can Technique level the score, or will bike-RUsh put it to match point? Game number 6 is coming up right now. Okay guys, welcome back to game number 6 between bike-RUsh+ownz and Technique. We are on tournament decision. This is no poker tournament decision, so the way they like it, we can actually see that there is a spike here, but of course there is a ramp leading up to it, and there is no spike on the right hand side, which is weird because this spike is actually closer, so I'm not sure why. I mean, Technique's one of those guys who doesn't like the contested spikes. He likes the game to be easier to play than it is. bike-RUsh, of course, on the top right hand side, playing as Steel Talons. There we go. Playing as Steel Talons. I'm not even going to check his faction. He's definitely Steel Talons. Versus Technique, who's playing as Nod Vanilla again. Yes, he's Nod Vanilla. This map not really a black hand map because, you know, you don't have stealth, you don't have aircraft, which means you have to fight on the ground. bike-RUsh, meanwhile, extra engineers going down to the center here. He's going to have this tower on his mind. Capturing the tower can really seize up this battle path here. You can sneak around like itty bitty there, but you can't move an army through without it getting targeted. So you can get itty bitty bits through, but not a lot. Will we see a flame rush? No flame rush coming down here from almost called him Masterly. So Technique here will dig a foxhole as soon as he sees the Raider buggy. Technique's not even going to bother. He's going to shoot it a little bit just to make sure the foxhole does get completed. But yeah, if you start digging the foxhole just as the buggy starts shooting, you'll always get it. And he's going to pull back, and unfortunately bike-RUsh, he's quick, but he cannot outrun the shredder shots there. We see, oh, do we have an MRT? We do have the same openings we saw on Tournament 20% here, where he's got the Pitbull, he's got the Titan, and he's got the MRT, he's got the tower as well, and he's pulling this squad back here because he's probably going to put that in the MRT. And is Technique aware of this? He's got a scout in, and he realizes, hang on a second, there's no second ref here, something is happening. The Pitbull rocks up, that's nothing sus at all, but he definitely knows there's going to be something coming down. He will be putting down a hand of Nod, but unfortunately that MRT will be able to deal with those, and he only pumped out a few squads here. He's going to be able to gun these guys down. The Titan is just going to beeline it straight for the War Factory. If he can camp the War Factory, he'll be set. He's going to start firing at the Titan. The Titan takes a little bit of damage, unfortunately. He's going to have to move the harvesters away, and he's now at the War Factory. He might want to get the repair drone to repair the... Oh, he has to sell. He has to sell his War Factory, and the MRT is just managing to repair the Titan. Oh, he had to sell his ref as well. That's disastrous. That is catastrophic. The MRT now still going to town. The Pitbull is still alive somehow, and he will pop that. The fact that he had to sell a War Factory and a refinery makes it all the worthwhile, I think. 3 harvesters here from Technique. And that's the thing, because it blocks line of sight. He's going to repair it up. He's going to end up chasing it around that building. And obviously didn't want to borrow that. Meanwhile, bike-RUsh has got 4 and 2, a 5th harvester halfway done. He could be going for another refinery. He's going to be so far ahead. This tower now is going to start popping this infantry, actually targeting the rocket squads. Obviously, tower's not good against infantry, but they will one-shot them. It's just, you know, there's so much infantry, or just about one-shot them. He's going to try to move forward to minimum range here to try to overrun this tower, and he will be able to do that. That one squad there, unfortunately, not in minimum range, and bike-RUsh will ultimately lose the tower eventually. Could pop this structure if he wants to, but you have to actually manually target structures with the towers. They won't automatically do that themselves. Again, not actually able to fire at those guys below him, so there you go, that tower. He's putting the repair tool on it. He's just being annoying at this point in time. Is he not going to get this tower? The tower's actually managed to clean up the infantry. I thought he would be in minimum range there. No, he's actually able to target these units just below. A Wolverine is coming as well. Will pop that structure there, and the Wolverine will clean up as well. So, oh, that's frustrating. Technique lost all of his scattered infantry that he used in the defense here, and now he's going to be pressured again. bike-RUsh has 3 refineries, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6 harvesters. Could go for a 7th if he wants. Comm center's down. AP ammo immediately on the research here. Meanwhile, Technique, he's floundering, I think. He's got 2 ref, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's actually going to have 7 and 3, so there you go, has recovered. bike-RUsh is ahead in the tech game, though. and I think he's ahead in the units game. Yeah, he's starting to move out. He's starting to clean up any scouting force that Technique may have here, gunning down the last of these units. He's checking for more scouts. He doesn't want Technique to see anything which is happening here. He's going to go for a double Orca cheese as well. This is going to be hard. The Orcas can just brute force their way in, kill harvesters, and get out. And even if you lose some of these Orcas, as long as you can brutalize their harvesters, it's always worth your while. Now just remember, he still holds the tower as well, and it's repaired up, which means Technique can't give chase too much here. There's a few pit bulls coming around. He's going to spot these though, and yeah, bike-RUsh is not going to go down that ramp. That's a little bit iffy. He's launching before he has all of his Orcas. Did he get spotted? Did he? No, he hasn't been spotted. He's going to launch with his Orcas before he has 8 of them. He's actually going to go in. I think he's just going to go straight for harvesters. Yeah, he's just going straight for harvesters. The pit bulls are just beelining it as pulse scans come down. I think he spammed all of them out. Unfortunately, he only got one. Did he only get one? He might need a force fire. He only got one harvester. Oh my god, 2 harvesters are in the red health, but unfortunately, I don't know why bike-RUsh did that. He could have waited for 8. Technique had no idea. Maybe he thought he got spotted. I don't know, and he rushed out. I don't know why he didn't use his scan as well. Does he have a scan? He did already use his scan at some point in time, so that's unfortunate. Again, the scan is sometimes a warning that aircraft may be coming, but you generally want to save the scan. So unfortunately, bike-RUsh not able to capitalize. He does have 7 Orcas remaining. I don't think he really lost any Orcs. He might have lost 1, maybe 2, but again, he didn't pay a very heavy price. But of course, now Technique realizes the threat is here. There's only 1 turret, surprisingly, and will move the harvester out the way there. Pit bulls will come down. He's going to spot that harvester. That is a dead harvester. I'm surprised only one turret was there. He pops the second one out, and now this attack here is devastating. 4 harvesters get destroyed. Stealth tanks are coming out, and this is the thing. He's not fighting hammerheads, he's fighting Orcas. And what do Orcas do? Orcas hunt stealth tanks. They hunt stealth tanks. Yeah, sure, the stealth tanks can destroy Orcas, but it's almost never cost effective. The Orcas can basically one-shot the stealth tanks because there's usually a couple of Orcas. Orcas have 2 stealth detection methods. Orcas are only $1,100. Stealth tanks are $1,800. It's one of those things where you're almost always going to be ahead if you do this. Is he going for sensor pods? No, he doesn't have sensor pod upgrade. He's got these Orcas though. He's got 4 of them. He's obviously transitioned back to one field, going for a Marv, and he's going to be coming down here now. He's going to be firing at these tanks. He's got some units here as well, just firing sporadically. The stealth tank is there. Will he try to go for it? He will go for the stealth tank. He will pop it. The stealth tank takes down 2 of the Orcas. A 3rd Orca may fall. No, he's going to get out of there. Only 2 Orcas go down. That's not too bad. These 2 Titans are now unchallenged. Not enough there to force out the engagement, and the Marv will more than likely complete now. Technique drops this game. He's going to be on match point. The pressure is mounting here. That first attack, and that's the thing, the first attack was not very good. 1 harvester killed. Yeah, bike-RUsh didn't lose too much, but Technique now, the cat was out of the bag, and Technique, almost a refusal to acknowledge that that was happening, only puts down a 2nd turret once the engagement is taking place. And yeah, just lost harvesters. I think it was reckless. And he's probably going to be criticizing me, but really he should have known. He knew they were there. He knew there were a lot of Orcas there. You need coverage, otherwise they'll just run in like that and they'll destroy you. Having said that, Technique has recovered quite a number of harvesters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6, so he obviously pumped out quite a few more with his reserves that he had. And now bike-RUsh with the Marv, with the single behemoth here, probably going for a refinery to get this Tiberium that's down here. Technique's going to be in a bit of trouble if bike-RUsh is able to secure the other part. If you're not down here, by the time your opponent's down here, they can very easily secure this, and then all of a sudden you have to go to the top field, which is fine. You can do that. There is a lot more tib up there than there is on one of these fields, but you'll basically be giving your opponent 1 extra field. There's still more Tiberium in the bottom 2 fields combined, of course, as we can see on the radar. That's definitely a thing. EMP buggies is done. He's got a Marv here, and it is quad engineer. So that's going to be very hard to destroy, but the EMPs come down. The stealth tanks can do a lot of damage, but they just have to make sure the Marv doesn't power up, or they're going to get 1 shot. And here comes the army here from bike-RUsh here. He's going to come in to save his Marv. There is an MCV here. He could be putting down some turrets, but you know what? He needs something to destroy these Titans. He needs something. Oh, a tib vane goes off, but you know what? The Marv is just like, cool story, bro. I don't care about that. It did basically nothing, and it got maybe a couple of pits tops. So bike-RUsh continuing to Marv as this field, and he's just going to use the Marv, as most Steel Talons commanders do, as a big meat shield with quad engineer. You can actually physically see the health just recuperating that recuperates very quickly, and with Behemoth here, he's going to be able to pressure the base. There's stealth tanks coming around. They will focus down these two walkers. We'll lose the stealth tank. Unfortunately, the stealth tanks... Oh my god, that Marv takes a big crack at the stealth tank there. And with the Behemoths firing from behind the line, yeah, he has to turn around with the Redeemer. If he loses the Redeemer, there's nothing stopping bike-RUsh from just walking straight into this base. Only has one ref on the expansion. Rage Gen will go off. He will shoot at his Behemoth. Luckily, though, it's not going to do enough damage. Quad repair with the War Factory repair. Yeah, good luck destroying that, and this is not going to go down well for Technique. Yeah, he's just trying to push in with these units, and he's going to try to get back to these Behemoth. But unfortunately, he might actually be able to drop one of them. The stealth tank's coming down. They will drop one. Oh, he does pop that one there. That Behemoth gets some vengeance. He is going to focus down the other one. He misses, though. Technique moved at the last possible moment, and the Scorpion tanks will be destroyed. EMP on the Marv here. The second Behemoth will go down. He needs to make sure he cleans those husks up. The stealth tank may be looking to do that. Will not split his fire. Doesn't get the second husk, unfortunately. Engineer's coming out now. He will lose it. But he got the second husk. The second husk was destroyed there. I'm not sure if it was crossfire or splash damage or what happened there. But we can see that, oh, the Redeemer is very badly damaged indeed. Scattered infantry. The stealth tank's not going to want to see infantry. They don't like those at all. The Raider buggies are here, but they have no laser capacitors, so they can't really gun down the infantry pretty quickly. Although there's not exactly a lot of infantry here. But Technique he's running on empty. He does have no economy at his disposal. He's not long-range mining, maybe a little bit. Yeah, he's got a few harvesters coming back, but again, he needs a ref down. He's actually going to send his Redeemer forward. Unfortunately, the Rage Gen's not going to do much because he's already targeting. Rear armor, bam, see you later. And he pops those. The Rage Gen will cost him a pitfall or two, but how's Technique going to recover? He has basically no money. I think he may have an obelisk. Yeah, but oh, he placed it there. Oh, it's just going to get focused now. More Behemoth coming. This is just disastrous for Technique now. He's fought pretty hard. He does get an EMP off. He's going to get a second EMP off. Oh, if these stealth tanks can continue to focus the Marv, they're actually doing a lot of damage here, but unfortunately the Pitbulls are now just firing at him. He's got this bunker with double rockets in it. Oh, that's really annoying, by the way. The Marv powers back up, and you can actually physically see the repairs now coming down with 4 engineers in it. It's repairing quite quickly. And Technique just unable to destroy. It's actually always Behemoths actually firing at the Marv. You've got to watch out. They will do splash damage. Puts the Marv into heavy damage mode, so that could have been disastrous. But Technique has already tapped out, so not to matter. 4 games to 2. bike-RUsh is on match point now. Technique must win the next 3 games. That was a good game. I like that game. Unfortunately, Technique underestimated the second attack there. Really shouldn't have happened. Maybe he would have been in a better position and unable to crack bike-RUsh. Trying to use these stealth tank strategies. Stealth tank's not too good on that level, I don't think, unless certain situations arise. But nonetheless, unable to dislodge the Marv as well. Those quad repairs. And he really had stealth tanks and the Redeemer. That's all his damage that he had. He had nothing else to back it up, and it was never going to be enough. bike-RUsh had Orcas, bike-RUsh had infantry, bike-RUsh had Behemoth, he had Pitbulls. Like, he had a lot of other stuff there where Technique was basically like EMP buggies, which do nothing but EMP, and stealth tanks and the Redeemer, and that's it. So unfortunately, Technique will lose that game, 93,000 to 77,000. So bike-RUsh got about 15k more in the game as well, which allows him to power through. But stay tuned, we got game number 7 coming up. So bike-RUsh is on match point here. He's on match point. Technique must hold from here. Let's jump into the next game. Okay guys, welcome to game number 7 between bike-RUsh+ownz and Technique in the tournament grand final. bike-RUsh has taken it to match point. He just needs to win 1 game. Technique must win 3 in a row if he wants to win this tournament. bike-RUsh is on the top right hand side playing as Steel Talons, because why the hell not? On the bottom left hand side we have whoa, almost called him bike-RUsh. Technique playing as Nod Vanilla again, not choosing Black Hand once throughout this series here. He's going to be going with Nod Vanilla, just a single scout. I'd imagine he'd be going for a Raider scout. Technique has not actually rushed in any game aside from the first one. And you know what? I think he needs to try to rush bike-RUsh. He needs to try to get him. bike-RUsh has rushed him in this series, and he needs to be able to shake. He can't just continue to sit around and let bike-RUsh do whatever he wants, because that's exactly what bike-RUsh likes to do. And unfortunately here, I think, oh, look at that, Technique will actually win the fight out. I think it was to do with the ramp, the slope. Some of the GDR Rifleman squad weren't firing correctly there, so a little bit of luck. Meanwhile, these rifleman squads will be moving around, trying to cut this off. Of course, the militants can't run and they cannot hide because there's no garrison. They can't take a foxhole and they are slower. Look at this. Technique will prevent the scouts in this game. He will stop that. But again, he's just doing a predictable economic build here. He's not going to be doing anything fancy. bike-RUsh is doing the same, although he's not building anything from his war factory. Why is that the case? He's got 2 pit bulls out. Yeah, maybe he was going to go for a couple of pit bulls. Maybe he was worried that something was going to happen, but I mean, he knows there's a second ref down now, and the MCV is somewhat moving down to the south, but this is tournament technique. You can't base push, or you can't do it easily anyway on this map. We're going to see the Raider buggy come around. He will scout into bike-RUsh's base, but he's going to get trapped in the corner. bike-RUsh is just cornering him now, so there's really no escape for this Raider buggy. He's just going to try to pull these pit bulls out of position for as long as possible before he loses that Raider buggy, and yeah, that last shot will finish him off there. So Technique now has no eyes on the field. Another harvest comes out. Build a Scorpion tank, so you can see he's definitely flustered. There's no need to build the Scorpion tank there. Yeah, there were a few pit bulls, but at the same time, they weren't really doing too much. bike-RUsh, though, surprisingly, 4 harvesters, 5th harvester about to pop. Technique is just popping his 5th harvester now. It's pretty much the same. So there you go. Both sides pretty much seem to be on par at the moment. bike-RUsh is going to come back in again, have a quick look around. No shredder turret to be worried about because the MCV is moving. He's going to realize, alright, cool, no worries. There's no second war factory. You're just doing an expansion build. A second Scorpion tank comes out. I'm not sure where the first Scorpion tank is. It's over here. It's parading around with these pit bulls, and he will get some shots off on that pit bull there. Both those pit bulls in the red. One's heavy damage mode, but these Scorpion tanks will push them back for the time being. He will crush that scout there, so cleaning up bike-RUsh's eyes. bike-RUsh has a second war factory down now, so he's going to go for some really fast aggression. You can do this as GDI. Oh, but a second war factory comes down from the Nod player. This usually means they're going to be somewhat in a better position because Nod can double war factory a lot easier than what GDI can because the units, of course, are a lot cheaper. But there's a Titan standing there. It's just something you don't want to see. You know, you just don't want to rock up and fight, oh great, there's already a Titan standing behind the war factory. It's just going to get free shots off until I can get around there, and then it's going to do the merry-go-round around. A second Titan will come out now, not enough Scorpion tanks there. Third Titan, fourth Titan, pit bulls, and a ref coming down. bike-RUsh is set. Meanwhile, Technique also putting down his economy, so I think both sides realizing this is not going to happen. bike-RUsh really committing hard, building quite a lot of units. He's just going to actually come out and fight these guys now. He has a lot of Titans, a big line of them. I think these Scorpion tanks can't fight that. There's nowhere near enough of them to fight them in the open. Again, Titans aren't terribly great in the open, but you know, when you've got numbers like this, he's only got like 1 or 2 extra Scorpion tanks than there are Titans. He's going to move around. 4 Scorpion tanks here. Battle marker over there. A Titan is moving around to crush. I'm not sure if Technique has picked up on this. He will be pulling back. Does he realize that that is there? The Titan is on hold fire. Oh, Technique, he sees it now. He sees the last thing. He put the ref down. He must have seen it. bike-RUsh knows the jig is up. He's got it firing now. He's firing the Titan, realizing that he's been spotted. But, I mean, if anything, he's pulled all the harvesters. Oh my god, he's going to get that harvester. No, he's not going to get that harvester. If anything, he pulled these harvesters off the line, and Technique will have to get those back to work now. So there you go. Oh, individually getting them all. I would have just group selected, and you can just grab them. You can just alt and grab them and just push T or whatever if you've got Return to Refinery as, and get the ones that are empty to do it. He just individually microed every single one of them. Meanwhile, bike-RUsh has 3 and 2 on the expansion. More Titans coming out, and he's making this work. I think just Technique is just not appropriately countering this right now. He's got a lot of Scorpion tanks out, hoping to take some type of engagement here where he can come out ahead on top of bike-RUsh. But bike-RUsh now going for the air, and in these low-tier engagements where there's no anti-air, the air is going to be perfectly fine. I mean, bike-RUsh could transition to bike-buggy. Technique could transition to bike-buggy, but again, the bike-buggy is not going to be able to fight the Titan ball, not one bit at all. And bike-RUsh is going to realize, you know, there's tons and tons of Scorpion tanks. That's pretty much what Technique is committing to. Unfortunately, not getting the Dozer Blade upgrade. He's obviously forgotten to... There we go, he's doing it now. A lot of the time when you put the Operation Center down, you go into a low power mode, so you can't actually start the upgrade until you redo your power. Some people will forget to go back and start the research once they upgrade a power plant or two, like Technique has done here, but he did, of course, remember to do it. Tech Lab comes down. He's going for laser capacity. This is great. He could go for Venoms. He could go for laser scorps. That will allow him to win out here. Railguns, of course, obviously a very potent counter. That's obviously a decoy. This is obviously a decoy army as well. But again, railguns is something that's very expensive, takes a very long time to get. Laser capacitors is much easier to get. 2500 to the minute 15, so it's shorter to get and it's cheaper. And look at this, he's got stealth tanks coming out. He could be going for Tib Core. Hammerheads here as well. Pitbull's coming in. They are going to try. No, they switch targets. They want to get the stealth tank. And yeah, the Pitbulls get obliterated. He gets a second stealth tank. Hammerhead's now getting blown out of the sky. He's got to be careful about that there. He's going to try to fire at... He must have stealth detection, I was going to say, because he's firing that, what do you call that, harvest there, but not going to get it. So he only kills 2 stealth tanks. Doesn't actually get any harvests from Technique. Technique is now moving across the left-hand side. He's going to be going stealth tank Scorpion. By the looks of it, I'm not sure if he's going to planning on using these stealth tanks with the army. Where'd they go? Where did they go? He had them around here somewhere. I'm not sure what he's done. There's one there. Did he get Tib Core first? We'll have to wait and see if this is going to be Tib Core. It is Tib Core, so he gets Tib Core first. And is he going for lasers? Yes, he's going for lasers now. So Tib Core missile is a minute 15. It's basically exactly the same in terms of cost and duration as the first one here. But this engagement is going to break out now. Tib Core is obviously going to help him destroy a majority of these hammerheads. But where are the stealth tanks? There's a turret there. That's good. Maybe... no, I guess Tib Core probably was the best thing to go for first. He's got avatars coming out as well. Look at this. Technique as the Nod player is being put into his base by bike-RUsh's Steel Talons. bike-RUsh is going to base push now. He's going to take that tower. Oh man, Technique cannot allow that tower to be taken. He cannot allow the tower to be taken. And he's got his MCV up here. The stealth tanks, there's actually 5 of them now, and they will be able to fight. This is going to be a huge sweeping engagement here, and he's going to move through. Unfortunately, Technique not doing too well. He should just buy time. He should just buy time for his laser capacitor to be completed, and he's actually got the tower. He took the tower, so now he's got that. These avatars are being destroyed, they're being pushed back. Meanwhile, Technique is falling back into his base. He's trying to put shredder turrets down, but you know what? He needs laser capacitors. He needs it now. Tib Core missiles firing. He will scatter the hammerheads, but unfortunately, the Tib Core is going to be super powerful there. Most of the hammerheads getting completely obliterated here. This fight is pretty intense. One hammerhead remains, and that will be completely destroyed, so Tib Core missiles there. Has he done enough though? Laser capacitors is done. He's trying to put down shredder turrets now. And that tower over there is helping him, cutting off reinforcements. More engineers coming out. Not sure why there's so many engineers. But yeah, Technique kind of needs to defend. Where is army? He's actually backing up. He's leaving this area. He's going to leave his MCV. He sells his MCV, puts down a final shredder turret. bike-RUsh can actually start building refineries down. He's doing this with just tier 1. He's using Titans and rocket squads and riflemen's, and he's winning out in this situation. He's actually snared himself an avatar. That's why the extra engineers were produced. This is crazy how bike-RUsh is doing this on such a low tier unit. Technique is being completely hit for 6 here. This could be the end of the game. He does have a second MCV because obviously we can see that he's putting down base defenses still. So, and more war factories coming down. bike-RUsh is probably recycling his base at home like crazy. Technique is trying to fight this. He's got a lot of avatars. But unfortunately he needs to try to thin the infantry out. Again, his infantry have no upgrades. He can't get composite armor, man. He needs something to stem the flow. He may have to hit them with a cloaking field, but he's not able to put down enough shredder turrets. The shredder turrets are not doing enough damage. He's just falling back further and further and further. He even has to sell this war factory here. His tech now is super vulnerable. What is this going to be, a mine strike? It is going to be a mine strike. It doesn't hit a lot though, unfortunately, and the infantry will reveal the mines and to be able to destroy those. Technique is not on the top left-hand side either. bike-RUsh is not... no, he's moving his MCV. He's not even going to care about refining. He's just going to move across. Airfield is there, but Technique, what's he got? He's got no economy. It's all been shut down. He's losing his tech. He might as well just sell this all and get the money to try to hold. If he can hold, I mean, you got to remember, bike-RUsh has nothing as well. He's got no economy. He's just drained his 2 fields and he'll be nothing but long-range mining. Technique does have these 5 avatars. I can't believe he hasn't built up a shredder wall yet. He's only doing it now. Like, this is not... bike-RUsh is just focusing it down. This is disastrous for him. He could have sold all that tech on the bottom right-hand side. 2 avatars are down, but every avatar that falls, I mean, he's going to have to try to replace these. He's going to have to try to reclaim those, is what I meant. But again, they're just falling, and again, and again. He's not going to have time to reclaim those. Not with bike-RUsh here. There's towers coming down. He's actually putting down towers. Here comes a big load of Tiberium. All these harvesters are full of Tiberium against a heroic militant squad, but unfortunately for Technique, he's actually going to be pushed out of this game. He doesn't have anything left. He's going to put a ref down over here. I'm not sure why. Again, I don't know why he didn't have a shredder wall there. If he had a shredder wall, he could have held, he could have killed all the infantry. He had 5 avatars, that's plenty to destroy what he had there, and now he's able to reclaim these avatars. This is embarrassing at this point in time. Technique trying to fight, it's over. Like, look at all the units bike-RUsh has here. This is done. The MCV will fall, and bike-RUsh will be taking this series. What an incredible game that one was. bike-RUsh just showing his dominance in this series there. And bike-RUsh will win the tournament here. He'll win the tournament at 5 games to 2, and it was very, very convincing. I mean, one of Technique's games that he won was because bike-RUsh sold his MCV, sold himself out of the game, and the other one is when bike-RUsh really just dragged his feet. So I can't, Technique had plenty of opportunity to do something in those games. He really just had no aggression. He had 0 aggression. He barely ever even attacked bike-RUsh's base in any of those games. And I'm being pretty critical, but I mean, he had 7 games to try to sort himself out, and he couldn't do it. Unfortunately, 98,000 to 102,000. The economy was close. Look at the kill-death ratio, 1.44. Technique was killing a lot more, of course. bike-RUsh was building a lot of infantry. But yeah, again, not able to counter the infantry. Unupgraded infantry. Where was the shredder walls? He should have had the shredder walls. He would have been fine. bike-RUsh just overrunning. Again, there was bad shredder placement. A lot of the shredder turrets were being placed in an area where they could be destroyed almost instantaneously as well. So, well done to bike-RUsh. I mean, he played phenomenally well. He played so well. Bad luck to Technique there. Needs to reassess his game plan. But I hope you all enjoyed this best of 9 series. The grand final, bike-RUsh will be your winner. I'm Green Zero. Stay tuned to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.